Look over here, buddy. Look over here. You looking over there? Good. So, welcome back to another episode, and welcome back to my 10 Happy Console Gamer moments of 2018. At the beginning of every year I say this, I'm like, what videos am I going to make for this year, and will I be able to do a top 10 list at the end of the year about some videos that meant a lot to me that I created throughout the year? And I was getting through this year, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to fill it up. I don't know if there's going to be any really memorable moments. And there was, and I want to come in and share them today. I also want to say thank you so much for 10 years, for being around for 10 years. That was another thing that was a big milestone this year, was the 10-year anniversary of the show. I can't believe that I've been sitting here for 10 years in front of this camera talking to you guys and hopefully entertaining you at times. That's the goal. That's the goal with all this. But I want to say thank you to you guys for being around for 10 years. It really means the world to me. It does. 100%. And you know what? Every year I have so much energy for making new videos and talking about new things. And I often say, I'm like, am I going to have enough to say this year? Do I have other videos to make, And I do. I always have something to say. So, without further ado, let's start off and look down here. The first one at number 10, it was at the very end of 2017, going into 2018, and it didn't make it onto my last top 10 list. It's a definite mention here. I thought it was one of the highlight moments of starting to get into 2018. It was a New Year's Eve special, and I shot it with Joe from GameSack. And we sat for like an hour and talked about the E series and what it meant to us as kids, what it means to us now. We went through most of the games, and we had this really in-depth talk about E's in a way that I just couldn't believe. And it was so much fun to do, to revisit all those games and to talk about them with Joe. And I even said to Joe at the time, I said, this is something that we can look back on. It really is. And this New Year's, I have another very special video coming as well. It's not a New Year's Eve special, but it's going to be something else with another prominent YouTuber, and I think you'll really find it fascinating and interesting, so definitely wait for that. Now, at number 9, this was a strange one for me, because the game was okay that I reviewed. It wasn't that big of a deal, the game. It was alright. We finally got a classic game, which is Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo, was coming onto the PS4, and everybody's like, what is this going to be like? Is it going to be any good? And you know what? It wasn't bad. But what I loved about doing the video was it was so strangely fitting, because at the time I was reorganizing the games room, and I had to get out of here. I couldn't review the game here because there was no games room. It was all on the floor and half on the shelf up here. It was nuts. So I went down to my local forest and I shot my review for the game there. And I thought it was so fitting. It felt so good to review Secret of Mana in a forest. I just thought the setting was perfect for it. Now, for number 8, this was an unusual one and a first for the show and a first for my mom. Really, to be on the show after 10 years. And my mom was visiting for about a week and a half, and I thought about it. I was like, Mom, why do you come onto the show? And she's like, oh, well, my mom's a very short British lady from Yorkshire. And she's like, oh, what are we going to talk about? Oh, I don't think I could do that. And I said, don't worry, I'll do it all. And it was really, really nice to have my mom on the show. My mom's 70 years old, and it was nice to sit and talk about things. And I couldn't believe she remembered about, getting me the TurboGrafx CD-ROM for Christmas and bringing it past the border, and then they had to pay a certain kind of tax on it. She still remembers all of that. And it was really nice to have her on the show. And the thing is, this is really funny, because my mom, has never done a video before. She kind of got a bit of YouTube fever at 70, because she would phone me when she got home, and she'd say, oh, John. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I can't believe the video's at 27,000 views. She loved it. And she thought everybody was so nice in the comments. My mother's going to start a YouTube show next year. No, she's not, but If she's back again in the future, I will absolutely have her back on. At number 7, and it doesn't need to be number 7, this could be number 1 as well. It really could be. I just threw it in here because it's one of my top 10 videos of the year, 100%. This is great. This is great, and it was a bit of a gag. I did it on April Fool's. It was a lot of work. I worked on it with my friend Baruti, and the end result was awesome. This video, you have to go and check it out. Yeah, I think because I put ass in the title, it didn't go bigger. And I didn't care because the name of the video is Top 10 Nintendo Switch Games I Shoved in My Ass. And it was kind of a commentary, laughing at YouTube, laughing at top 10 lists, laughing at myself. It really was one of those things you can't be on YouTube and not laugh at, doing a top 10 list. But making a top 10 list where I talk about all the Nintendo Switch games I shove in my ass, and it's goddamn gold. Go and check out the video right now if you haven't seen it. We spent a lot of time working on it. It's one of those videos that there was so much effort behind the scenes put into it, but it paid off. I think the best April Fool's video I have ever done. But I love doing April Fool's videos, and I'm formulating one for this year. It should be pretty good as well. At number 6, this kind of started off the new year into 2018. It was one of the first few videos that I did, and it was really meaningful, and it wasn't clickbait. It wasn't any of that kinds of stuff. It was called My Secrets. And I knew everybody's like, what was he going to talk about? I admitted a few things. I admitted that I had to start wearing reading glasses, and I'm very, very kind of shy about that, I'll say. I'm showing the audience, showing all you guys for the first time. I was like, oh man, I don't want to admit that I'm getting older, and I didn't want to admit that. And then I got into some really cool things that I personally don't talk about on the show very much, is that some of the hobbies that I'm into. One of them is Warhammer. I love painting Warhammer miniatures. It's very zen for me. I have my Necromunda box set this year that I'm going to paint all of the figures for. I spend a good couple of weeks doing it. I do one box set every single year. It's very fulfilling. And when I'm finished, I look back and I'm like, I did all the painting here. And I'm so proud of it because when I was a kid, I was a crappy painter, the worst of the worst. And now I take my time, I try to get it right, and it does come out really, really good. I'm really happy with the painting jobs I'm doing these days. The other thing I mentioned in that video is oh my God, I got back into Transformers after so many years. I was such a big Transformers kid, and now I'm a big Transformers adult. And I started to collect the Takara Tomy Transformers, the Japanese Transformers. Oh my God, this stuff is so awesome. And then, the Power of the Primes. And then it's the War for Cybertron Siege has come out. Please, just stop with this stuff. I've actually got every Transformer I've wanted now. I'm only getting 1 or 2 for the year. That's the plan anyways. This was a good one. In celebrating 10 years of the show, I went back and I did one of those things where I sit and I watched my very first video that I ever made. And it was a review for Phantasy Star 1, my favorite game of all time. And it was amazing. It's another video that I really recommend you watch. I don't just sit there and go, ooh, oh man, am I ever cringeworthy in the past? Oh. The video shocked me. I forgot about some things. And the video excited me as well, being able to go into my friend's basement again to see Phantasy Star. I forgot that I shot the footage, and I had the footage. And I think it was even the first time I put it on YouTube in 1080. Because I've always shot the videos in 1080, but back then, in the beginnings of YouTube, you couldn't upload 1080 videos, or even 720, it was all like 480. So it was really fun to revisit that first video after 10 years, and I had a really good time doing it. Highly recommend watching that. Another meaningful video that I did this year, I kind of worked it out. It was a top 10 list. It was a top 10 list of top 10 things in my collection, my favorite things I own in my collection. And so many people wrote to me afterwards, and said how emotional it was that I'm not just a guy who shows us an expensive game. Hey, this is my collection. I like it because it's expensive. every single item I showed had meaning for me, right into my very first game. But all of the things had a story and had a meaning, and there were so many great items. Again, I'm going to say it, another video I highly recommend watching, top 10 things in my collection. You'll be surprised by some of them. Or you have to say this, you won't believe number 4. No, but seriously, check it out. Okay, this is great. This is great. I did a drunken reaction to the PlayStation Classic getting announced. I was having a couple of drinks one night in the other room, and I got announced, and I was like, I kind of came in here with my drink, which was like gin and soda, and I just started talking, and I kind of put it together and uploaded it. And then I remember waking up in the morning, and I woke up and I went, oh no, I uploaded a drunk video to YouTube. I'm like, I haven't done that in 10 years. I've never done that. I'm like, I was so nervous. I ran into the room. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. And I checked out the video and I started laughing. I thought it was really funny. And everybody's reactions were like, people loved the video. It blew my mind. It was one of those unexpected things. And this is the funny thing about the video. People kept saying, you've got to do more drunk reactions to things. And I was like, I can't do that. I'd become an alcoholic if I did that. I'm not doing that. But I thought it was so funny how everybody was saying, you got to do more drunk reactions. Anyways, I got an add-on to that story. So it must have been a few days later. Me and my mom are talking on the phone. She lives on the other side of Canada. And we're talking. And you saw my mom earlier in the video. She says, she's like, I saw that video you did the other day. And I said, what video? She's like, the one where you were drunk. I didn't like it. She's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And filming yourself doing that. And I'm like, Mom, I said, you're missing the point. I said, it was all good fun. Everybody thought it was funny and all that. Isn't that funny? You get older and your mom is still your mom and she's still thinking, don't be doing that kinds of stuff. Don't be embarrassing yourself. And I'm like, Mom, I love embarrassing myself. At number 2 comes a review, and this is my favorite review that I did of the entire year. I did a lot of reviews I'm really happy that I did, like Dragon Quest and Spider-Man. There were so many great games. But there was one review that the experience of it was so fulfilling behind the scenes. I got a little game from Sega called Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a beat-em-up style game. I'll give it a shot. Start playing it in the other room. Brain exploded. Did not expect this style of game, like a Yakuza style of game. I did not expect that. It's so much fun playing a game you think it's going to be one way, but it blows your mind. It completely blows your mind. And I loved the experience playing the game. I finished the game in a few days' time, and then I started another game. Then I had to come in on here and stream it. And then, and just before that, I filmed my review, and it was one of those reviews. I had all these notes. I had all these notes of like all these points that I wanted to say because I didn't want to forget anything. And I was like, John, you know what? Just go in the other room, turn on the camera, sit down, and just go for it. No notes, just go for it. Say it from the heart. And I sat down and I just talked directly to the camera like I am now. And I just talked about my entire experience with it. And then I filmed it and then I edited it. And it just felt like, for me personally, people may find some faults with the video or whatever, but I thought it was a perfect review for myself. And it was one of those reviews where I was like, the show is firing on all cylinders here. It's firing on all cylinders. It's passion. It's a game I love. It was a bit of an unknown game, a bit of I hate to say a hidden gem this year. A lot of people weren't talking about it. When my review came out, nobody else had really reviewed it. Nobody. So my review went really big. And I'm glad it went really big so everybody could find out the gospel of this game, Fist of the North Star. What a glorious masterpiece of a video game it is. And I definitely wanted more people to play it. I'm still preaching at it. Go and get the game. Go and try the game out. It is wonderful. It's a big kind of like RPG beat 'em up, blood and guts, like really intense, a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style world. It was perfect. Now, little did I know that my favorite video of the year would be, I would do it right at the end of the year. And when I filmed it and I shot it, edited it together, I didn't think that this was going to be my video of the year. I've often said, people say to me, John, I'm starting a YouTube show. What advice do you give me? And I always say this. When you make a video, if you can watch it and you enjoy it, and you actually watch it multiple times, you're on the right track. But if you make a video and you can't watch it, you're like, oh my God, it's terrible. You're not on the right track. Think about another way to do it. When I did this video, it was one of those ones that was a slow burn for me. I shot it, I edited it together, and it was very easy to do. It wasn't a hard video to put together. And I put it up, and I think I've watched it like 10 times. I've watched it, and I never even mind the editing process of watching it. And yeah, it's my home videos from when I was 1991. I think it's like Johnny in 1991, and it showed me in 1999 and then into 1991. And I showed a lot of fun stuff of me skateboarding back then, in my old room, some friends coming over. It's glorious capturing my youth that way, and for me revisiting that. But what I didn't really expect was the emotional punch at the end. It wasn't intentional. I didn't kind of think that it would come together this way. But I did find some old footage of an old friend of ours who had passed away. And how does I say passed away? She unexpectedly died. And it was really heartbreaking stuff. And I found all the footage again, and I put it at the end of the video. And it adds this amazing emotional punch that I did not expect. I did not go for that. And it was there. And every time I watch it now, I get shivers from it. It's a video that's transpired being a video into an emotional feeling that it gives me every time I watch it. And I'm really happy that I put it out there so everybody can remember Tara. My friend from back then, and a lot of my friends' friends, she was a friend to all of us. And so it was like, to capture her again and to have this video is extraordinary. And we're talking like 28 years later. And to have this all this footage and to put it up online, and that she's still here in a way with us, and we can still kind of remember her and all that. But guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching all the episodes of the year, and to continuing to support the show. I appreciate you. I just appreciate you as viewers. It's the best thing in the world. I'm celebrating 10 years. Let me say, when I started the show, I got my friends and family to subscribe because I had nobody else. And then all of you wonderful people over the years subscribed and watched the show and helped the show grow. And the show is nearly hitting 200,000 subscribers now, which is unreal. I still remember doing the 1,000 subscriber special. And the show has really gotten a lot bigger, and it's really grown a lot. And it's nothing without the people that watch it. And I want to thank you for the end of the year here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I truly appreciate it. And I'll be back in 2019. There's a lot more video games coming out. We got Kingdom Hearts. We got the Resident Evil 2 remake. Lots of excitement right at the beginning of the year, and I will 100% be here to cover them and talk about everything video game related in the new year. So anyways, guys, until next time.